Georgia's political landscape is shifting as the population diversifies. With an influx of Asians and Latinos largely concentrated in urban areas, Atlanta and its suburbs accounted for half the state's vote.
That's a huge concentration of people who live in what are now largely blue county. You get enough votes in Atlanta and you get those votes counted, Democrats can win elections in Georgia.
And while communities of color generally lean blue, to many like first-generation Latino-American Carlos Alfredo Torres Fletcher, who goes by Cat, it's Trump's way or the highway. And what compelled you to start getting involved in politics?
It happens with the magic touch of Mr. Trump when Donald Trump launches his book, The Art of Deal. That was the first book that I read cover to cover. Everybody wanted to be like Donald Trump.
But Cat's no anomaly. In Georgia, the split between candidates amongst Latino men was almost even. He managed a Republican congressional campaign, and his candidate lost by 60 points. But Cat, like Trump, won't concede.
I refuse to accept any of the elections. The election was not fair.
What will it take for you to accept the results of this presidential election?
I don't want to discuss on that matter because now it's a legal thing.
Georgia's Republican Secretary of State has repeatedly said there's no evidence of fraud or election tampering. But Cat remains defiant. Growing up in Venezuela and Mexico, memories of living under socialism and political corruption have made him skeptical of free and fair elections.
For me, this is a deja vu, okay? Beautiful things of the United States of America is to keep the elections honest. If you don't keep the election honest, and if you don't have a fair election system, okay, we're done.
For BiLan Liao, her life in her home country also shaped her political views. She immigrated from China in 1999.
I was 45 years old. I did not speak English at all, but I want to come to the United States for the freedom and democracy.
The 66-year-old has been activating both Chinese and other Asian Americans around Georgia to vote blue. Why was it important for you to activate your community to get out to the polls this November?
I live in China. I know what is under dictator and the life and what is discriminate each other. And in China, I don't have the right to vote. And here I have the right to vote and I have the power. That's the reason I want to stand up.
Every morning, BiLan logs into her phone to send messages on WeChat, a popular Chinese texting app, where she looks for new voters to register, shares information supporting Democratic candidates.
We need to reach out for the new voter.
And also spends hours phone banking. Asian Americans make up 12% of Gwinnett County, where BiLan lives. She says if they want politicians to care about their community, their voices need to be heard. Do you think it's going to be hard to get Chinese Americans out for the vote for the runoffs this January?
We have to try because we tried the first time. We have more experience how to campaign, and I believe we will get the Chinese, and the Asian Americans come out to the vote.
From now until January 5th, it's all eyes on Georgia, and the whole country's watching.
No rest. We cannot rest because we said this is the battle. This is the final battle.
While some remain resistant, like Cat.
My advice would be to repeat the general election immediately.
Others, like Julius, say there's too much at stake to give up now.
This is the most important presidential election of our lifetime. This is the most important runoff of our lifetime, of my lifetime.
The essential nature of this election changes the future of our country, protects healthcare, protects access to jobs, and protects access to justice.
One way or another, these runoffs will be decided by a new Georgia. Divided, yet diverse. Full of people just hoping to make the place they call home a little bit better. What's it like seeing the tide turn?
It's amazing. The beauty of Georgia, of all these different demographics that are coming in there. And now we have more people who are being represented on the ballot and who are taking place and shaping this state and shaping this country now. That's the Georgia I want to be a part of. That's the Atlanta that I'm proud to live in, and that's the country that I want our nation to continue to be.
My name is BiLan Liao. I live in Georgia, a retired art professor, and a Georgia API Leadership Council. I have been a full-time volunteer last June. I stand up for American democracy and our future dream.